Kal Kadosh, Boker Tov, Masechet Ketubot Daf Yomi 14a1. We are going to start in the bottom of Yud Gimel Bet. Last line, Hahu Arus Varusato. There was an Arus and Arusato. De'atu lekamed Rav Yosef that came in front of Rav Yosef. He Amra, she comes and she says, Mine, that she is pregnant from the Arus, right? That means that they had the relations and she's pregnant from him. Vehu Amar, and he's saying, right, Yudale the Mudalef on the top, yes, Minai, it is from me. Yeah, so they both agree that it's from themselves, meaning together. Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, Lemaine Chashla, what are we going to suspect? That it's not from somebody else and not from the husband? Chada, number one, he's modeh that it comes from him, right? Then furthermore, that a woman is believed to say that she had relations with a kasher. So to here, she should be believed that she had relations with the arus. So Elmaleh Abaye comes and he says, Ubeha ki lo modeh machshar Rav Gamliel. In this case, right, if the arus is not modeh, was Rav Gamliel also going to admit that she's believed? Meaning, imagine right now she comes and she says it comes from the arus, and the arus comes in and he says, "What are you talking about? It's not from me." Now what? Is she still going to be believed? The Elmaleh Shmuel Rav Yehuda. Shmuel said to Rav Yehuda, "Shinena." Shinena means sharp one. Yeah, sharp one. It's like a name. Yeah, halacha Rav Gamliel. Right, halacha Rav Gamliel. However, though, don't make halacha l'maaseh. Don't paskin the case until you have the majority of the people that they're going to be kosher to her. But over here, rov psulin etzla, the majority are pasul etzla. Meaning like this: what is she? What's her status? She's an arusa. An arusa, are the majority of people kosher to her or psul to her? Pasul. Why? Because she's considered like married. She is married, right? That's the first step of marriage. If she has relations right now with anybody, right, other than her husband, what does she get? Sekila. Sekila. No, not serefa, sekila. That's much stronger than, right? The sekila.
It's much stronger.
Yeah, of course. Sekila, serefa, hereb b'chelek Masechta machlok Maseches Sanhedrin, or the sekila or serefa, sekila. But we paskin, and that's what we say in Kippur. Sekila, serefa, hereb b'chelek. That is the order of the stringencies, even though both of them are machlokot.
Sekila is strangulation?
No.
Lapidation?
No. Sekilas, you throw them off a 2-story building, and if they survive after a 2-story building, then you stone them to death. That's why it's called sekila. So the Gemara comes and it says, so here the majority of people are pasul to her. Why? Since she's mekudeshet, since she's already engaged, so she's going to be pasul. So says the Gemara, and according to your reasoning, tikshila chi gufa. 1 second. What that in itself, you could already ask the question. It says the Gemara halacha ve'atlata ve'luda. How do you say that the halacha is like that, but don't do it? If you say the halacha is halacha. What do you mean? No, it's halacha, but don't do it. What's going on? What are you going to tell me? Halechatchila hab'diavad. There's a lechatchila and then there's b'diavad, which means that which Shmuel says that don't do a maaseh, that's lechatchila. Because if you're going to come and ask in the bedin, they're not going to permit her to get married and so on and so forth, right? They're not going to come and permit it, but right, there's b'diavad. So to hear this arusa that she's saying that it came from Darus, it's already b'diavad, right? Because she's already mikudeshet. So what do you want her to do? So therefore, we're going to come and we're going to say that it's going to be kosher, right? Even like b'diavad, even though the majority of people are going to be pasul to her. So Abaye comes and he asks from Rabbi, Umiyama Rabbi Yoshua in a minute. Does Rabbi Yoshua say that a woman is not believed to say who she became pregnant from? Or meaning we have a contradiction. Heid Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera al Almanat Isa. Testified Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera on Almanat Isa. Almanat Isa is an almanav a kohen that was a safek halal. So that's what it's called, Almanat Isa, right? Kohen pasul. That's what we're talking about. Sheik shera lekiuna. She's kosher to kiuna. That means even though that if the husband was a halal, she's pasul to the kiuna, right? But here we say that she's going to be kosher to the kiuna. So Elmaleh comes and he says, "Hachiyasha, can you compare both cases?" He comes and he says, don't compare both cases. He says, why? He comes and he says, Hatam isha niset bodeket veniset. Hacha isha mezana bodeket umezana. What does that mean? There, when a woman comes and she wants to get married, she's always going to try to make sure that she gets married to somebody that's kosher. She wants to get married to somebody that she knows that afterwards she has, a tikvah, she's got a future. She's not going to get married to whoever it is. But here, when we're talking about znut, do you think that a woman comes and starts checking into znut? When a person does znut, they don't think with their head. When a person does immorality, they're not thinking, logically, right? They lose their head. So to do the marriage, you're going to make sure, one second, she wants to get married to somebody that's, proper. You understand? That's not going to mess her up for the rest of her life or just in case or whatever. But to do a znut, she's not thinking about that. So Amar Rava comes and he says, Rabbi Yoshua Kashya. He says what? The only stira is between Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Yoshua, but not in Rabbi Gamliel. Faktani said, what about the Seifa? The Seifa says, Amar Rabbi Gamliel, says Rabbi Gamliel, Kibalnu et edutchem. We accepted the testimony, right, that she's kosher to kiuna. Aval ma na'aseh, but what are we going to do? Sharei gazar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai shelo lo'shiv bedin al kach. That we came and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made a gezerah that we should not make a bedin on this, on almanat isa. She'kohanim shomim lachem lerachek, aval lo lekarev. Because the kohanim, they only listen to you guys to be merachek, to distance this woman and to make sure that she's going to stay far away, but not lekarev, but not to bring her closer. So therefore, the kohanim themselves are not listening to you guys. So therefore, the Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, you know what? Even if the halakha is going to be like you, we're not going to pay attention. Why? We don't follow you. Right? We don't follow it. So says the Gemara, but rather Rabbi says, he says, no, you know why? Over there, the woman is a bari. She's a certain. She says, I'm sure. I went and had relations with somebody that was kosher. And therefore, Rabbi Gamliel comes and he says, she's believed. Here in the Mishnah and Aduyot, the woman herself doesn't know because the husband was a safek halal. If the husband's a safek halal, she doesn't know for sure that the husband's not a halal or not. In the other case, she comes and says, I know who I had relations with. Who was it? Somebody kosher. Okay, so she's believed. Here, she's an almanat isa. What is almanat isa? The husband is a safek halal. She knows that the husband is not a halal or not. She doesn't know. There's a doubt even in the husband. So the safek halal means that we have a doubt that maybe the husband was a halal or not a halal. For example, was the mother a grusha, not a grusha? Was the mother, right? When a kohen, so if a kohen gets married to a grusha, chalutza, or somebody pasul to them, so what happens is the child becomes a halal. What happens now if you have a doubt whether this child is a halal or not? So it's a safek halal. Safek halal, now safek halal, this safek halal goes get married to a woman, and he dies. She's almanat isa. Almanat isa means an almanah of a kohen that was a safek halal. So now, can this almanah get married to a kohen? Remember, a kohen cannot get married to a grusha v'chalutza. He's allowed to get married to an almanah. Only a kohen gadol cannot get married to an almanah. But a regular kohen could get married to an almanah. So can this kohen now get married to this almanat isa or not? So here, this is what we're talking about now. So says the Gemara.
Sorry, can the kohen get married to an?
In the case of Rabbi Gamliel that we said, she was certain that she had relations with a person that's kasher. Here, she doesn't know, right? The entire case of the husband. The husband is a safek halal. Does she know the husband? She doesn't even the husband doesn't know. He's a safek halal. So if he doesn't know, so then why would you believe her? So it's not a question against Rabbi Gamliel. When does Rabbi Gamliel say she's believed? When she's a body, right? When she's certain, right? When she's a certain, she's going to be believed. But here, she's not a certain. She doesn't even know. The Rishua Namila Kasha also Rishua is not going to question. Hatam chatzfeika chatre sveika. There in the Mishnah, there's one safek, whether she had relations with somebody that's kasher or pasul. Here in the Mishnah that came in front of us, right, and therefore he comes and he says, in one safek, he's going to be machmir. In the case of Eduyot, there's two sfekot. Number one, the safek was really bemet, the mother of the husband, if it was kosher to kiuna or not, and then she herself. So therefore, since it's like two sfekot, therefore he's going to be mekel Rabbi Yoshua. Ilkach, therefore, the Rabbi Gamliel, according to Rabbi Gamliel, alim le body, right? Body is so strong, according to Shtat Rabbi Gamliel, that even one safek, she's believed. In the case of Rabbi Gamliel, there was one safek. Who does she have relations with? And even one safek, as long as she's body, she's believed. The shema, and the shema is so weak that even if it's going to be a safek, it's going to be pasul. Which is the case of Almanat Isa. It's still going to be pasul. Why? But she's a shema. Rabbi Yoshua, alim lechad sfeika, so strong that even with body, it's also going to be pasul. But if it's going to be so lenient, sfeika, which means like this. What is stronger? Rabbi Gamliel looks at the body v'shema aspect. Meaning, is she a certain for herself or not a certain for herself? If she's a certain for herself, even if there's only one doubt, even if it doesn't matter, we believe her. Why? She knows what she's doing. She's steadfast. She knows it. Body, there's nothing what to talk about. Shema, she doesn't know. You could have, I don't know how many sekot, it doesn't matter. Pasul. We say disqualified. That's Shita Rabbi Gamliel, right? Which is a very big musad. You can learn a lot of musad from there. Rabbi Yoshua said the exact opposite. Rabbi Yoshua says, don't look at the body or the Shema. How many doubts do you have? If you have one doubt, there's nothing what to talk about. Safek, doraita, lechumra. So one safek, we go stringent. Nothing what to talk about. Kamarnu. She's body. It doesn't matter. There's only one safek. Maybe we'll still pursue. That's it. But if it's going to be a safek, sfeka, two sfekot, but the safek already started with the mother and then the safek with the other one. So then in such a case, what do we say? Right? Safek, sfeka, then what? Safek, sfeka, we go lekula. Even if it's going to be Ashema. Yeah?
Oh.
What is Almanat Isa? Right? That means basically Almanat Isa is it has to be a case where there's no chashash that the husband was a mamzer and therefore pasul to kiuna, or a natin and therefore pasul, or avdut like an eved. It's only that he was a safek halal. So Amar Rabbi says Rabbi Meir, Yudaled Amud Bet 14b, Shamati, I heard, Kol Shem Ba Echad Mikol Elu Masin LeKiuna. Anybody that does not have one of these things, they're going to get married to Kiuna. Rabbi Shimon Lazar, Omer Mishum Rabbi Meir, V'chei Rabbi Shimon Menasya, Omer Kidvarav. Ezo Almanat Isa. What is Almanat Isa? Kol Shenitba Ba Safek Halal. Anytime that you have a Safek Halal, Makirin Yisrael, right? That means they know that it's Yisrael Mamzerim Shebenhem. They Makirin Chalim Elim, which means that Bnei Yisrael, they know who are the Mamzerim, but they don't know who are the Halalim. Because basically a mamzer, everyone knew this is the mamzer. But to do with halal, they didn't really pay attention too much. You understand? Like it wasn't that much. So Amar Mor says, Ezu Almanat Isa, Kot Sheba Lo Mishum Zelo Mishum Nitum Mishum Avdei Melachim, HaChalal Kasher. Ma'ishna Hanach Doraita, Halal Nami Doraita. It says 1 second, a mamzer, natin or eved, is Doraita. So to Safek Halal is also Doraita. What's the difference? At the end of the day, it's Doraita. So says the Gemara, two, and furthermore, Amar Rabbi Meir says Rabbi Meir, Shamati Kol Shem Ba Echad Mikol Elu Masin LeKiuna Enu Tanakama. When it says that anybody that does not have a safek, whether it's going to be of mamzerut, avdut, and all these things, and natinim, so therefore you're going to get them married to the Kohanim, that's a Tanakama. The two, and furthermore, Rabbi Shimon Lazar Omer Mishum Rabbi Meir, V'chei Rabbi Shimon Menasya Omer Kidvarav. What is Almanat Isa? Kol Shenitba Ba Safek Halal. Makrin Isa Mamzerim Shebenehem, Makrin Halal Shebenehem. V'amarta Reisha Halal Kasher. You just told me in the Reisha that the Halal is Kasher. So Rabbi Yochanan says, right, because of all these kushiot, mamzer soveach v'chalal shotek ika benayu. What's the difference between them? Right, the difference between them is machloket tanaim. When a person, you call them a mamzer, he screams at you, and when you tell him a halal, he keeps quiet. He doesn't answer you. And so you come and you tell the guy you're a mamzer, whoa, he goes crazy. But if you tell him that he's a halal, he keeps quiet. So therefore, the question is the fact that he keeps quiet ashtika keoda'a, meaning he's agreeing to it, and therefore Mila Menad is going to be pasul or not? So Tanakama holds, called pasul dekale v'shatik, pasul. Anybody that if you call him a pasul and he's going to be pasul, right? That means you keeps quiet, so then he's pasul. I mean, imagine you come and you tell somebody a mamzer, he keeps quiet, he's a mamzer. Call him a natin, whatever it is. That's what happened with Yaz, right? A natin is a certain group that they converted during the time when there was Moshe Rabbeinu and others as well. So he says, "Ve'achi kaman." This is what they said. Zanakama. Who is Almanat Isa? Kol shemen lo shtuk imamzeret ve'shlo shtuk netinu lo shtuk of the melachim lo shtuk halal, which means that there's no shtika involved, meaning that they didn't keep quiet in any of those things. So the Kamal Rabbi Meir says, "Hanachu the kapasile bekal." All these people they're pasul in the kal. Aval shatuk halal kasher, but shatuk halal is not to get married to the kal. The Hadish says, so why is he keeping quiet? Because he doesn't care, right? Because at the end of the day, he can get married to any woman that he wants. Natin, mamzer, all these people in Eved, they can't get married to any woman. A halal could get married to anybody. He's just going to disqualify the woman to getting married afterwards to a Kohen, but he himself could get married to any woman. The Kamal Rabbi Shimon Lazar Tanakama Rabbi Meir according to the Rabbi Meir, Shemia Lecha Demachshar Rabbi Meir Mishtika. Does the Rabbi Meir, right? Does he actually machshir if he keeps quiet? Lo dekaru le halal v'shatik. Not that if he kept quiet and being a halal. Kela dekaru le mamzer v'shatik. But if you call him a mamzer and he kept quiet. The Haid is shatik, and why did he keep quiet? Savar mamzer kalaitle. He holds that a mamzer has a kol, which means everyone knows that he's not a mamzer. So therefore, if everyone knows that he's not a mamzer, he's going to keep quiet. אבל ממזר וצובע חולל ושותק, רי חלל ושותק, פסול. אחד ישתיק, and why is he keeping quiet? משום סבר דמסתייד אלומה כלה מקהל. He holds, it's already enough that they're not taking him out from the kahal, which means now they're calling him a halal, right? They're not saying that he's pasul to come to get married to everybody. So therefore, that's why he doesn't really care much, because that's why he's keeping quiet. So תניחד רבי יוסי אומר ששתוק ממזר כשר, שתוק חלל פסול, תניחד שתוק חלל כשר, שתוק ממזר פסול. So basically there's a מחלוקת. Is it that when you keep quiet, which one are you going to be pasul? Is it you keep quiet for halal, you're going to be pasul, but a mamzer not? Or if you keep quiet for halal, you're kasher, and for a mamzer not? So la kasher is not a question. And Tanakam Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Rabbi. So there's machloket. What is the pshat, or what is the shitan Rabbi Meir? Which means in Rabbi Meir itself there's a machloket, and that's why there's a machloket between the two Tanaim in shitat Rabbi Meir. Which one do you keep quiet? Is it going to be kosher or not kosher? Mishnah. Okay, Amar Rabbi Yosef, says Rabbi Yosef, Maaseh betinoket sheyada lemalot mayim min ha'ayim v'neinsa. There was a story of a girl. She went down to get water from the mayan, and she was violated. And now we have a question: is she prohibited to the kuna or not? Amar Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuni, says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuni, Rovan shayim masin lekuna. The majority of people in the city could get married to a kohen. Harezutu nasil lekuna. She's also allowed to get married to a kohen. That means we don't know who violated her, but she was for sure violated. So the fact that if the majority of those people were able to go and get married to a kohen, so too she could come and she could get married, right? That means basically they're kosher, so too she's going to be kosher.
But so, we learned before that any rape.
Rav Nachman says, Rav Nachman, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuni damar keman. Who does Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuni go like? Because remember, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuni said, right, that we go after the majority. So if he goes like Rabbi Gamliel, then even if the majority of people were pasul, it's still going to be kosher. Right, according to Elmaleh. Rabbi Yoshua, and if you go according to Rabbi Yoshua, even with the rov ksherim, it's going to be pasul. So it means, manashach, what's going on here? Meaning you're not going like Rabbi Gamliel, and you're not going like Rabbi Yoshua. So who does Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuni go like? So Elmaleh says, and he answers, this is what Rabbi Yehuda says, Bekronot shel tzipori maaseh hayano. We're talking about the caravans and tzipori, meaning the Yom HaShuk. And like Rabbi Yami, Rabbi Yami says, Vehu shaita siyah shel bnei adam kshenim uvedet l'sham. There was a whole group of people that they were also rov, that they were passing by. So therefore, there's two rovs to be kosher. The majority of the people of the city and the majority of the people that they're traveling. So since you have two rovs that they're coming, that's why Rabbi Yoshua said, you remember about the Sfekzeka, you remember about the two. So once you have both of them together, then even Rabbi Yoshua was going to come and he's going to say that it's going to be kosher.